Welcome back to Vetsplanation, where we break down complex veterinary topics into simple, easy to understand advice for our pet parents. I'm Dr. Sugerman, and today we're going to be talking about a common question that many dog owners have. How much Benadryl can you give your dog? Before we dive in, let's remember real quick that while Benadryl is generally safe for dogs, you should always consult your veterinarian before actually giving your pet any medication that they don't know about. So first, let's talk about what is Benadryl. Benadryl, or also known as diphenhydramine, is an antihistamine commonly used to relieve the symptoms of things like allergies in humans. But it can also be used in our dogs for the same purpose, to kind of alleviate the symptoms of itching, swelling, and hives. It's also sometimes used to treat things like motion sickness and can even be used sometimes as a mild sedative. So, how much Benadryl should you actually give your dog? The standard dosage for dogs is 1 milligram of Benadryl per pound of body weight. So, that's usually given about 2 to 3 times a day, depending on what it is that we're looking for, why we're actually giving the Benadryl. But for example, we would want to give a 25-pound dog about 25 milligrams of Benadryl. This dosage can be adjusted based on your vet's advice and like the specific needs of your pet. So just an important reminder, you should always use plain Benadryl. Avoid the formulations that contain other medications like Tylenol or decongestants. That one is usually called Benadryl D. These can actually be really harmful for our pets. We want to make sure it's just plain Benadryl and just plain diphenhydramine, the other name for it. You can get that as well. Both of them do the exact same thing. So here's a quick guide for common dosages based on your pet's body weight. So in this graph, you're going to see we have the weight of your pet. We have the amount of tablets that you should be able to give based on your pet's weight and the mils to be able to give. So you can see for our larger dogs, that's a lot of mils that we have to give. So I highly suggest for our small dogs that you use the liquid Benadryl. So that's the children's Benadryl, which is at 12.5 milligrams per 5 mils. And for our larger dogs, you want to give tablets. Tablets are going to be much easier to give than that liquid because there's so much liquid to give. So definitely try the tablets for them. And also remember that liquid Benadryl can be a bit tricky because there are added ingredients to it sometimes, like xylitol. So we do have to make sure that it is just the generic plain Benadryl. That's why I usually do recommend tablets above the liquids, besides the fact that it's so hard to give such a large amount to our big dogs. So when administering Benadryl, you should monitor your pet for any side effects. Some of the common side effects you're going to see are things like drowsiness, which to be expected, sometimes a dry mouth, urinary retention, an increased heart rate, and then also possibly an allergic reaction. You don't think about dogs having an allergic reaction to Benadryl, but it is possible. You can have an allergic reaction to anything. So they can definitely have an allergic reaction to Benadryl. You can also see sometimes excitement rather than lethargy. This is really true in cats and also my children. If you notice any severe reactions or if your pet's condition doesn't improve, definitely contact your vet immediately, though. It is also essential to know when not to give Benadryl to your pet. So, pets with certain health conditions such as glaucoma, heart disease, high blood pressure, prostate enlargement, intestinal or bladder obstruction, COPD, and hyperthyroidism should actually avoid Benadryl unless it's prescribed by a veterinarian for a very specific use. Pregnant dogs and nursing dogs should also avoid this medication, again, unless the veterinarian has prescribed it. So, in conclusion, Benadryl can be a really helpful over the counter medication for managing things like your dog's mild allergy symptoms. But always make sure to use it responsibly. So, consult your veterinarian before you start any new medication and just make sure to stick to that recommended dosage guideline. Thank you for tuning into Vetsplanation. And if you found this episode helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more pet tips and advice. Remember to always keep your pet happy, healthy, and safe. See you next time.